Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening if you're watching this on the replay. If you are watching on the replay, let me know in the comments. Just drop a hashtag replay below, just so you look like one of the cool kids. No, just so that I can see who's here and watching. Let me know where you're watching from as well. Again, just because I'm nosy. So today I'm talking about the familiarity principle, often better known as the mere familiarity effect. That's not the word I'm after. The word has escaped me. How good is that? Anyway, mere exposure effect. That's the word I was looking for. Good morning, Kat. Thanks for tuning in. Yes, so the mere exposure effect or familiarity principle is quite a simple one. It's basically the more that you see something, the more familiar you become with it, the more you like it. It's not quite as clear cut as that. In fact, it's shifted a lot in recent years. So traditional studies will show over and over again that people feel familiar with something the more that they see it. That's no surprise, really. I'm sure you can relate to that yourself. And what happens is, particularly with brands, so this is useful from the perspective of advertising and especially on social media, the more that we see it, the more we feel familiar with it. And because we feel familiar with it, we like it. We have a preference for it. So we have either a preference toward things or a preference away from things. And the more we see something, the more we have a preference towards it. Very simple. Where things have begun to shift is that, particularly, and I'm going to use the world of social media and particularly marketing and advertising within social media, because it's a great way of understanding this effect. And also because I know a lot of my followers have businesses that they want to promote using social media. Good morning, Mr. Chisholm. So, yeah, what's begun to happen, it used to take, not that many years ago, just a few years back, it would take on average 5 to 6 touch points for people to begin to feel familiar. So from the perspective of selling something, if people back then saw an advert for something 5 to 6 times, they would get to the point where they're pretty much ready to buy. No, Mr. Nagels, this is not Babe Station. You've tuned into the wrong browser again, I'm afraid. But nice try. I think if you head over to, there's a group on Facebook called Chizzing. I think you'll find some interesting stuff for you in there. Anyway, yeah, so it used to take 5 to 6 touch points to build that familiarity. Now, particularly online, with so much going on, so much content and so much information, it takes around 20 plus contact points, touch points to build that familiarity. Probably because partly there's so much going on. But also what's shifted and changed is it used to be that seeing an advert, someone trying to sell their stuff. Hey, buy this. Have you seen this thing? It's very cool. Buy it. Hey, have you seen this? You know you love it. Buy it. And if you've seen that a few times in a row, actually you begin to feel familiar with the brand, familiar with the thing that they're trying to sell, and you start to build a preference for it. Nowadays, that doesn't happen as much. We've become numb to elements of that effect. Now, I'm saying this, please bear in mind and note that this is largely anecdotal. I'm not aware of any in-depth studies that have proved exactly that there's that causal link there. Both elements of what I'm saying are true, but there's not any definitive proof that they relate. It just makes sense that they would. So I like to put that out there because what I talk about in these videos is very much based on research and, as best as we understand it, fact. But there are times when that data is interpreted in a different way. So I just like to point that out, that that's not an absolute proven fact. Anyway, the point of what I'm saying there is that when you see on your timeline, buy this thing, buy this thing, buy this thing, actually you can probably think now of times when you've seen an advert that keeps popping up, or a company that keeps popping up as sponsored ads, and you go, oh, not this one again, or not this same thing again, even if it's from a different place, but following the same structure. And so that would almost imply that this principle isn't in play, isn't accurate, isn't relevant. It absolutely still is. But you can also develop a preference away from something. And the key difference right now, or one of the key differences right now, is stop trying to sell stuff online and start trying to sell value online, show people something of use, of interest. For example, you could do a whole series on cognitive biases. It's informative, it's educational, it's hopefully entertaining, even if the entertainment is just from laughing at these two clowns in the comment. Can Michael's nurse come and get him? He has wandered out of the home again. And then Nagel's reply, I keep seeing pictures of Barney the dinosaur in my newsfeed, and now I want to drink cheap beer from Aldi. For anyone who doesn't know who James Chisholm is and why that's funny, you're lucky. Avoid it. But you keep hearing his name watching these videos, so you're becoming more familiar with him. That might develop to liking him. So yeah, give away stuff for free, add value, share something that's useful and insightful. And if you do that enough times, then people will build a familiarity and liking for you or that brand or what you're putting out there, which means they're more likely to buy from you. So it's not just the world of the internet, though, and it's not just sales and marketing. So it's true across the real world, everywhere we look. If we see things on a regular basis, we become more familiar with them, we tend to like them more. It goes back to caveman times, as most of our, or much of our psychology does, in that we want to have a liking for and familiarity with the people that we're close to and that we see all the time, because that's our tribe and we want to work with them. We want to see that particular tree or that particular rock formation and go, ah, yes, that feels familiar to me. I like that because it means I know that I'm nearly home, which of course is a place of safety, and we want to be safe. So the more familiar people feel with something, the more safe they feel about it generally, and therefore the more they're going to like it. And you can use that to build relationships better with people by just being familiar. But note, again, that's not the same as just stalking someone. You can't just follow someone around all the time and force yourself in their face. That's not going to make them feel safe. That's going to make them feel very, very unsafe. My cat's agreeing with me in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. She's being very vocal. So in essence, that's the familiarity principle, or the mere exposure effect. And yeah, there we go. There we have it. If anyone's got any questions, whack them in the comments now. Any questions about this, not questions about James Chisholm and Michael Nagels and what they get up to. And I will be back again, same time next week, with a new cognitive bias video. And I will be, yes, I'll be here next week. I'm also going to be super busy next week because it's the first week of my new online course for unlocking your inner confidence. It's a 6-week course. It starts really soon. I'm really, really excited, but there is still a chance to get involved if you want in. Are you aware at 8, not 9? Oh, yeah. That's a really good point. I have gone, I've gone live a whole hour early. Yeah. Morning, everyone. Well, did it work? Do you let me know in the comments whether you're watching this live or on the replay after 9 o'clock? Is 8 o'clock a good time? Do you want me to carry on doing it at 8, which was purely an accident and not planned in any way, shape or form? Or shall I go back to doing it at 9 o'clock again next week, as I normally would? Let me know in the comments what you think, and feel free to laugh at me for coming on a whole hour early not even realizing that I was doing so. See, Kat thought she had the wrong time. No, Kat, it's me. It's not you, it's me. Here we go. I'm glad I brought some humor to your Thursday morning. Yes, I am early. I was just so keen to talk to you all. Do you know, I just, it is 9 o'clock somewhere. It is 9 o'clock somewhere. Yes, a lot of people feeling like they have no idea on what day or time it is anymore. I'm sure for a lot of people that'll start to get back to some form of normality soon. Anyway, do you know what? I'm just eager to start the day. That's all it is. I've got lots on. I've got lots on at the minute. Loads I want to get done this week. So yeah, hey, I guess I can tick this off my to-do list an hour early. Thanks everyone for tuning in, even though I was here early. And if you're watching this on the replay, thanks very much for coming back to watch me. James Chisholm thought he'd lost an hour, and not due to the time difference up here. So James Chisholm lives up north, and he's convinced that because I live here down south, there's a time difference between the two of us. When I say up north, I do mean in England still. Okay, thanks everyone for tuning in. Have an awesome Thursday. I hope you get ahead of yourself, but not quite to the extent that I did maybe. And I look forward to tuning in with you all next week at 9 o'clock at the normal time, unless everyone tells me they prefer 8 o'clock. I might stick with this, who knows, with another cognitive bias video. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Have an awesome day. Goodbye.